What if I told you that the fact you are here in this precise moment listening to these words was never really your choice at all? Reflect on that possibility. Every step you have taken, every late-night search, every accidental click that seemed random or pointless. What if they were all orchestrated by an unseen intelligence? Imagine a cosmic algorithm far beyond human comprehension, one that responds not to what you ask with your lips, but to who you already are at your deepest energetic core. Your presence here is not accident, it is consequence. It is evidence, digital and physical, that a transformation has already been initiated in your life on a level your eyes cannot yet measure. This meeting was inscribed in your soul's calendar, a checkpoint that confirms your frequency has grown strong enough to echo into your waking awareness. You think you are seeking, but in truth you are being found. The sensation you are experiencing right now is not coincidence, it is proof. It is the vibration of a process that is not beginning, but already accelerating beyond your control. Your unique electromagnetic signature, woven from your sustained thoughts and emotions, has shifted so dramatically that the universe has had no choice but to rearrange your experience to mirror it. These words, this video, this very encounter are simply the first audible reverberations of a future reality that is already complete at the quantum level. What you are witnessing is not potential, it is the inevitable collapse of probabilities into form, the material response to a signal you have been transmitting all along. That sensation you have carried, the one that feels as if you are living with one foot in a new reality and the other chained to the old, is the unmistakable tension of worlds overlapping. You already know the feeling. In your meditations, in your affirmations, in your quiet moments of vision, parts of you already inhabit the desired future. You have felt abundance coursing through you, love without condition, health and vitality as your birthright, peace as your natural state. Yet each morning you awaken to reflections that seem to deny what you already know within. This creates a dissonance, a fracture between inner truth and outer form. It is exhausting not to your body, but to your soul, which strives tirelessly to hold coherence between two worlds at once. You meditate, you visualize, you affirm. Still, it sometimes feels like shouting in a soundproof chamber, desperate for the universe to finally hear. The fatigue you carry is not weakness. It is the sacred strain of holding faith when the visible contradicts the invisible, of sustaining a vibrational bridge between your present and your future. But here is the truth your soul has been longing to recognize. The universe has heard. It has always heard. The reason you feel yourself suspended between worlds is not because your leap lies somewhere ahead waiting. It is because the leap is already underway. The exhaustion is the sound of old walls crumbling to clear the space for new structures. You are not beginning transformation. You are living in the momentum of it. That is why this message has found you. It is not a spark to ignite change from scratch, but a mirror reflecting the fire already burning within you. The energy you seeded internally has reached critical mass in the unseen field, and now it is seeking expression in physical reality. This is the moment when probability collapses into certainty, when what was once vibration begins to crystallize into form. The static you feel, the overlap, the interference is not evidence of failure, but proof of tuning. Imagine two radio stations playing at once, the old frequency fading as the new one becomes clearer. That is where you are. You are not broken, not delayed, not unheard. You are in the tuning process, and this message is the unmistakable confirmation that you are locking into the frequency of your future. Your elevated state has acted as a powerful filter, drawing this exact message into your awareness at this exact moment. It is no accident. It is resonance. It is the first material sign of alignment, the echo of a reality already lived on the quantum plane. So take this awareness deeply. You are no longer just a seeker sending signals into the void. You are becoming the receiver of the field's reply. You are shifting from effort into recognition, from striving into witnessing. The dissonance you felt was not something wrong with you, but the perfection of overlapping realities. Your old one, dissolving your new one, crystallizing. This very message is not just information, it is the proof of transformation. Reality is a mirror of your energy, and what you see here is the reflection of your own evolution. You have arrived at the threshold where your inner world and outer world begin to synchronize. From this point forward, your role is not to fight for manifestation, but to attune to recognize, to allow. Because the miracle is not coming. The miracle is already in motion, and you are its living proof. What I am about to share with you is not just another idea to contemplate, but a concept capable of redefining the way you move through reality itself. From this moment on, you will begin to notice patterns that once seemed insignificant, but are in fact precise communications from the field. Repeating numbers that catch your attention at just the right moment, casual conversations that deliver answers to questions you never dared to speak aloud, these are not coincidences. They are echoes, resonant feedback from the quantum fabric of existence, signaling that your inner transformation has reached the threshold of external manifestation. And here lies the deeper revelation. Your task is not to force these echoes into being, but to receive them consciously, to allow them to accelerate the unfolding of your quantum leap in ways that feel smoother, faster, and deeply fulfilling. This journey is not about acquiring something new, but about remembering the dormant power that has always lived within you. The purpose is simple and direct, to move you out of the exhausting posture of passive hope and into the empowered stance of active recognition. Beyond theory, beyond mere speculation, we enter the practice of reception. No longer will you look outside for validation that your desires are possible. Instead, you will begin to notice the validation that already surrounds you, woven into every synchronistic event, every wave of déjà vu, every powerful intuition that seems to come from nowhere. These are not random sparks of imagination. They are data points, measurable evidence that your consciousness is impressing itself upon the matrix of reality. Each sign is a mirror of your new energetic program. A feedback loop confirming that what you have been cultivating internally is already restructuring the external. As you deepen into this recognition, something profound occurs. The anxiety of waiting dissolves into the certainty of receiving. The endless doubt that sabotaged your faith is replaced by the stability of coherence. You begin to breathe differently, not shallow with worry, but deeply with trust. You find yourself fluent in the language of vibration, reading the signals of your future with the clarity of a master musician who hears every note of a cosmic symphony. This is the invitation. Release the pressure to make things happen. Let go of the mental compulsion to analyze, to strategize, to demand outcomes. Instead, allow yourself to receive these words as the first great echo of your new reality. Let them vibrate not just in your mind, but in your very cells. Recognize this truth as something your soul has always known. Your arrival here does not mark the start of a desperate search, but the conclusion of one. You have been found by the reality you have already created within. Feel that weight lifting. The endless hunger for another technique, another book, another teacher begins to dissolve. For the first time, you are permitted to rest, to accept that this moment itself is evidence. By shifting into this recognition, your position in the game of creation changes. You are no longer a pawn shuffled by forces you cannot understand. You are the player seeing the higher rules of resonance. Peace arises not from getting what you want, but from knowing without doubt that what is yours is already arriving. This very encounter is your notice of receipt. The universe has stamped the seal, your vibration has been heard, and the materialization is in progress. Yet, to accelerate this transition, one misunderstanding must be dismantled: the illusion at the heart of popular teachings on attraction. You were taught to chase after what you want to pull. Abundance, love, or health toward you, as though they were distant objects. But the true physics of manifestation reveals a more elegant truth. You do not attract what you desire, you tune into what you already are. Transformation is not a matter of dragging reality closer, but of shifting your inner frequency until external conditions can no longer resist the resonance. The change is never from outside in. It is always from inside out. Your work is not to convince the universe, but to become so coherent, so stable, so precise in your vibration that reality itself is compelled to match. This is quantum entrainment, the universal law of resonance that cannot fail. Think of yourself as a tuning fork vibrating in the great hall of the cosmos. Every time you feel genuine joy, true gratitude, or authentic peace, you strike that tuning fork. In those moments, you emit a pure, sustained note into the infinite field of potential. The field, infinitely intelligent and exquisitely sensitive, cannot ignore coherence. It does not respond to scattered thoughts or frantic affirmations. It responds to the clarity of a stable vibration. When you hold that note, the universe reorganizes itself to mirror it back to you. Probabilities collapse. Particles align. What was invisible begins to crystallize into form. The echo of your future reality, the hum you feel, the signs you see, is simply the first reverberation of this mirror. Your only task is to keep vibrating that note to sustain it with faith even when the visible seems to tell a different story. This is where the idea of your future self becomes more than imagination. That version of you who already lives your desired life is not fantasy. It is as real as the present moment positioned on another branch of the quantum continuum. And from that place it exerts a gravitational pull on you. You are not pushing a boulder uphill, you are being drawn upward by your own evolution. Your higher self calls you into alignment like a magnet calls iron. Every time you rest in the emotion of fulfillment, even briefly, you align with that gravitational pull. The field responds instantly, harmonizing with your note. It is not persuasion, not negotiation. It is resonance. So now you understand the exhaustion you have felt was not failure, but proof of progress. The static you hear between worlds is not chaos, but the sound of tuning. The signs that meet you daily are not accidents, but confirmations. You are not searching, you are being called. You are not attracting, you are aligning. And the leap you thought was ahead of you is already underway. All that remains is for you to sustain the song of your future until reality itself can no longer resist joining in. Every time you choose peace over anxiety, gratitude over scarcity, trust over doubt, you are not just calming yourself, you are striking the note of your own cosmic tuning fork. With each choice, you are instructing the quantum field which version of reality you have elected to inhabit. The friction you sometimes feel, that sense of heaviness or resistance, is simply the inertia of your old energetic pattern trying to cling to dominance. Yet, it is your persistence, your unwavering commitment to the higher frequency that guarantees the dissolution of the old matrix and the stabilization of the new one. To help you see this more clearly, let me offer you a metaphor, one that makes the invisible more vivid. Imagine for a moment the existence of an invisible tow rope, strong and unbreakable, extended from your already realized future self directly to you in the present. That version of you, the one who has already arrived, who already lives in abundance, health, fulfillment, and peace, is not a fantasy. It is a concrete reality on the timeline of your existence. From its vantage point, it has sent out this energetic tow rope that connects you across space and time. The yearning you feel, that strange pull forward, is not mere desire. It is the literal tension of that tow rope drawing you into alignment with who you are becoming, and every sign you encounter, like finding this very message, is not random. It is the vibration on the rope, a tug from your future self saying, "Keep going, the path is true." Repeating numbers, uncanny synchronicities, overheard words that seem to answer your silent questions, these are not meaningless coincidences. They are deliberate signals, course adjustments sent across dimensions to keep you aligned and to strengthen your faith. When you begin to see these echoes of future reality as active communications, everything shifts. You stop wandering as though lost in chaos and begin to feel guided by something infinitely wise, your own higher self. Pause now and look back over just the past few days. Was there a synchronicity, a repeated number, a chance meeting, or a phrase spoken that pierced your awareness with a sense of deeper meaning? Did you dismiss it as coincidence? What if those goosebumps you felt were not random, but the sensation of the tow rope tightening? What if those chills were your future self whispering, "I am here. Keep walking. You are being pulled forward." By reinterpreting these events, by accepting them as deliberate whispers, you activate a new layer of consciousness and reinforce the energetic bridge between who you are now and who you are destined to become. But here is a truth of great importance: the quantum field and your future self do not communicate with shouts or billboards. They communicate with whispers. They send subtle resonances, not spectacular displays. The language of the soul is always delicate, carried on vibration, on feeling, never on brute logic or sensational proof. And this is exactly where so many seekers falter. In their hunger for validation, their restless minds fabricate their own signs. Desire is mistaken for intuition. Excitement is confused with resonance. This is why discernment becomes the master skill, the ability to know the difference between a genuine echo from your future reality and a counterfeit projection of your anxious mind. This distinction determines everything. It is the dividing line between powerful fluid manifestation and the endless cycle of hope followed by disappointment. Anchor: this understanding reality is not being dragged to you as if from the outside. It is emerging from you, pulled forward by your own already successful self. If you have ever felt the invisible tug of something greater guiding your steps, declare it. Write the words, "I feel the pull." Do this not merely for engagement, but as an energetic decree, a clear signal to yourself and the universe that you recognize the tow rope and are ready to cooperate with its pull. It is your way of tightening your grip on the cord and affirming, "Yes, I am ready. Yes, I trust." This act is more than symbolic. It is an alignment ritual that strengthens your resonance and accelerates your progress. And now that you are aware of this invisible mechanism, you must also be vigilant, because once the mind knows of signs, it will begin to hunt for them everywhere. And here lies the great trap. In its craving for security, the mind projects meaning where none exists, interpreting random noise as sacred confirmation. This is not resonance. It is fabrication born of impatience. A genuine signal carries a different quality. It does not trigger manic excitement or adrenaline. It carries a quiet certainty, a deep coherence, a resonance that settles into your body like truth. When the field speaks, it does not scream. It harmonizes. It aligns. It soothes rather than agitates. Learning to distinguish between that subtle resonance and the ego's noisy projections is the art of mastery. It is the skill that allows you to flow with the invisible tow rope instead of getting tangled in illusions. So remember, you are not pushing, you are being pulled. You are not begging, you are being guided. The resistance is temporary. The whispers are real, and the rope will not break. Your only task is to keep choosing alignment, to keep sustaining the frequency, and to keep trusting the subtle signals that your higher self is already sending. This is the sacred physics of your transformation, the science and the poetry of becoming. When you receive a sign and your first reaction is to shout, "I did it," pause and observe what is really happening within you. That surge of euphoria is not the arrival of truth, it is the unveiling of doubt. The thrill comes from the surprise that something finally worked, and hidden beneath that excitement is the belief that it might not have. Joy, born of disbelief, is fragile. It burns bright for a moment and then collapses under the weight of anxiety. Almost immediately, the questions begin to spiral. Now what? How do I keep this going? How do I make sure I don't ruin it? That kind of signal does not root you in peace. It throws you into a loop of fear, control, and restless striving. It lifts you into a peak of adrenaline, only to hurl you back down into a valley of worry, trapping you on the roller coaster of duality. A genuine signal, however, is of an entirely different nature. When it arrives, it does not shake you with shock or intoxicate you with euphoria. It settles into your body like something you always knew but had simply forgotten. It delivers calm. It feels like recognition, not discovery. Instead of a triumphant shout, it draws from you a quiet sigh. Ah, there it is. It is as natural as finding a puzzle piece you didn't even know was missing, one that clicks into place so perfectly that the whole picture becomes clear. This is the essence of a true echo of future reality. It does not feel miraculous, but inevitable. It resonates with the timeless wisdom of your soul, evoking not frenzy, but relief. A subtle smile, a relaxed breath, the deep knowing that everything is exactly as it should be. That is how truth reveals itself. Understand this difference with precision. Excitement belongs to the mind. Recognition belongs to the soul. Excitement races your heart, floods you with adrenaline, and spins frantic thoughts. Recognition softens your nervous system, warms your chest, and expands your breath. Excitement is unstable because it springs from doubt, a part of you still negotiating with time. Recognition is unshakable because it comes from the soul, the dimension of you that has always known. This is why your body is your most trustworthy lie detector. Learn to listen to it. Learn to discern between the electric charge of mental euphoria and the resonant peace of the soul's knowing. To make this even clearer, imagine another metaphor: the GPS of your soul. The signals you receive, the synchronicities, and the numbers, the dreams, are not the entire map, nor are they the destination itself. The destination is the full embodiment of your higher self. The signals are simply the gentle beeps of guidance from your inner GPS, softly affirming you are on the right path. Keep going. They are not there to shock you or alter your entire course. They exist to confirm, to stabilize, to strengthen your faith in what you already know deep within. A true signal does not leave you questioning your direction. It grounds you deeper into trust. It does not demand a new plan. It validates the path you were already on. Now, contrast this directly so you never confuse them again. The false signal fabricated by the ego shouts loudly, "Look at me. I am proof that you might succeed if you just keep working harder." It demands attention, creates dependency, and pushes you back into effort. The true signal, the genuine echo of future reality, whispers calmly, "See, didn't I tell you? This is simply a reflection of who you already are becoming." It liberates you from the need to chase proof. One sends you into frantic action and control. The other invites you into stillness and surrender. One is like a stimulant you crave more and more to sustain yourself. The other is like nourishment. It strengthens your autonomy and your inner power. Take a moment now. Call to mind the last big sign you received, a number that kept repeating, a dream that felt charged with meaning, a conversation that struck like lightning, an opportunity that arrived unexpectedly. Don't analyze it with your mind. Instead, revisit the bodily memory of it. Did it leave you gasping, desperate for more, anxious for confirmation? Or did it leave you in sovereign peace, calm, certainty, and the quiet relief of remembering what you always knew? That difference is everything. That is your personal energetic diagnosis. Be ruthlessly honest with yourself, because clarity here determines whether you continue sabotaging your own progress or finally align with the truth of your becoming. And here is where most people stumble. Even the most conscious seekers, even those who have studied and practiced for years, often make one fatal error. When a genuine signal lands, they immediately seize it with the mind. They analyze it, celebrate it, dissect it, and in their eagerness they reintroduce the very frequency of effort and doubt that the signal was meant to dissolve. In that moment, their well-intentioned reaction repels the reality the signal was announcing. They grasp instead of receiving. They push instead of allowing. And in doing so, they slow down what was already in motion. So your next lesson, the highest one of all, is the art of sovereign reception, the art of non-reaction. To witness the signal, to feel it, to let it root into your being without grasping, without chasing, without the compulsion to do something with it. This is mastery: to remain centered, to remain calm, to remain in trust. This is the difference between living in the cycle of fleeting hope and disappointment and living in the steady rhythm of certainty. So, anchor this now. Take a deep breath. Choose recognition over reaction. Choose calm over the restless hunt for proof. Choose inner certainty over external validation. And if you are ready to live from this place of unshakable knowing, declare it with clarity. Commit yourself not as a passive spectator of your reality, but as an active student of your own consciousness. Do it now, not merely as a practice, but as a symbolic declaration, an act of profound alignment that signals to yourself and to the quantum field that you are ready to become the sovereign master of your own resonance. You have already learned to sense the pull of the invisible tow rope, that energetic line stretching from your future self, who already lives in completion back to you in this very moment. You have learned to distinguish between the subtle, genuine echoes of your soul and the noisy, fabricated illusions generated by the anxious mind. And now you arrive at the pinnacle of your training, the most refined, subtle, and yet decisive step of all the art of sovereign reception. This is the sacred threshold where many seekers, even the most devoted, fail without realizing. Not because they lack commitment, but because they unconsciously sabotage themselves at the very final moment of their quantum leap. The pattern repeats endlessly. When a genuine signal finally arrives, instead of resting in its certainty, the old programming of the human mind reacts. Conditioned by a lifetime of striving, the instinct is to grab, to analyze, to dissect, to celebrate with desperate relief, and then to strategize the next step. But what seems like a natural response is in truth the act that reintroduces lack into the field. To grasp is to announce silently to the universe, "Thank you for this small crumb. Now I must take over to ensure the full loaf arrives." And the moment you clutch in this way, your vibration shifts. You move instantly from the serene magnetic state of being, the very frequency that allowed the signal to find you, back into the restless state of doing, controlling, and struggling, which belongs only to the density of your old reality. The echo of future reality is like the reflection of a perfect image shimmering on the glassy surface of a lake. When you react with grasping, with excitement mixed with fear, it is as though you hurl a stone into the water. The reflection distorts the clarity, dissolves, and what was once perfectly visible becomes lost in turbulence. Your true power, therefore, does not lie in reacting, but in sustaining the calm that allowed the signal to manifest in the first place. This is sovereign reception, the highest art of manifestation. The capacity to witness a sign without clutching to feel confirmation, without collapsing into doubt, to remain still dignified and magnetic in the face of proof. To anchor this understanding more deeply, imagine yourself as a quantum gardener. For months, or even years, you have prepared the soil of your inner field with your intention. You have watered it faithfully with gratitude, faith, and elevated emotional energy. And then, one morning, as you walk through this inner garden, you notice the first green sprout breaking through the soil. This sprout is your signal, your echo, the first living evidence of all the work you have already done. Now, what does the wise gardener do at this moment? He does not fall to his knees in frantic obsession, digging up the earth to check whether the roots are growing. He does not panic that the sunlight may be too harsh or that the rain may not be enough. He does not attempt to pull the sprout upward, desperate to accelerate its growth because he knows such interference would kill it instantly. Instead, the master gardener smiles softly. He is not surprised, for he understands the law of cause and effect. The sprout is not a miracle, but the natural confirmation of principles faithfully applied. His only response is recognition, gratitude, and the continued care of the soil. He keeps watering with trust, removing the weeds of doubt and maintaining the conditions that allow the inevitable harvest to unfold. He understands that the seed carries its own intelligence and timetable, and that the fruition is guaranteed so long as he maintains his own alignment. This is sovereign reception, continuing to nurture the soil of vibration, without grasping, without panic, without impatience, but with steady trust. Let us shift metaphors again this time to the image of the open hand. When you receive a signal and your instinct is to clench it tightly to hold it as proof to squeeze it with control, you are like someone trying to hold water inside a closed fist. No matter how much pressure you apply, the water slips out and disappears. Control, fear, and need cannot contain the fluidity of the quantum field. The more you grasp, the faster it escapes. The only way to hold water is not to close the hand, but to open it into a gentle cup to allow the water to rest there naturally, in its own time, in its own measure. This open hand is the perfect symbol of sovereign reception. It represents surrender, trust, and permission. It is not weakness, but strength. For it is the only gesture that allows manifestation to settle into your reality. It is gratitude without words, a thank you whispered not by the lips, but by the heart. It is the dignified posture of a king or queen receiving homage. They do not jump in shock, they do not cry out in disbelief, they simply nod in recognition, for they know the offering is merely an acknowledgement of their inherent status. In the same way, when you receive an echo of your future reality, you are being honored by the universe itself. Receive it with sovereign calm, with the inner knowing that it was always yours by vibrational right. This calm, this dignified acceptance is the final seal that crystallizes your new timeline. So, examine yourself honestly. When an echo appears, whether small or large, what is your first instinct? Do you feel an urgent sense of finally followed quickly by the fear that it might vanish? Do you grasp it desperately? Analyze it with your mind, try to make plans to ensure it continues. Or do you feel the quiet certainty of a calm smile, the natural recognition that says, "Yes, of course, this is mine already"? Do you receive it as someone who anxiously prays the delivery won't be canceled, or as someone who knows the package was fully paid for long ago, simply arriving in due time? There is no judgment here, only awareness. Seeing your pattern clearly is the first step to transcending it. When you recognize your reaction, you gain the power to consciously choose a different one. You can choose the posture of the architect, not the posture of the victim of circumstance. Mastering the art of sovereign reception is your final graduation. It is the moment you stop being a passenger peering out the window of the train, desperate for signs that you are on the right track, and instead become the engineer of the train itself, fully confident of the destination, fully trusting the track beneath you. And this mastery changes everything. You stop searching endlessly for proof. You stop oscillating between hope and doubt. You no longer live as someone at the mercy of circumstances, but as one who allows reality to flow into form through the coherence of your own vibration. Your power has never been about forcing the world to change. Your power is about becoming so stable in your resonance, so unwavering in your frequency, that the world has no choice but to reorganize itself around you. This is not fantasy, but physics, the science of coherence, the law of resonance. The field does not bend to effort, but it cannot resist alignment. And to lock this truth into your being, place your hand gently over your heart right now. Close your eyes. Feel the open hand of your soul, the calm of sovereign reception. Feel that you do not need to force, you do not need to clutch you, do not need to panic. All you need is to hold the frequency steady, to remain open to allow the inevitable to flow toward you. This calm is not passive. It is the most active frequency you can embody. It is the final seal that collapses probabilities into certainty, the signature vibration that ensures your reality must conform to your inner state. And this is your true mastery, the art of receiving with sovereign grace. Feel now the profound distinction between the restless energy of grasping and the serene power of allowing. Sense within yourself the calm strength that emerges not from control but from trust, not from clutching, but from open-handed reception. This is your true sovereignty, the innate power that has always been yours. To ensure you never forget this lesson, especially in the moments when it matters most, make a symbolic commitment. Save this teaching, keep it as a resource to which you can return whenever a new echo of your future reality arises. Let it serve as your manual of remembrance, reminding you how to receive the gifts of the universe, not with desperation or disbelief, but with the grace and certainty of the one who authored them. As you breathe into this awareness, acknowledge the transformation that has already occurred within you. You are not the same being who began this journey. Perhaps you arrived with dissonance in your heart, with frustration, feeling trapped between desire and circumstance. Now you hold a clarity that illuminates everything differently. You realize that this tension was never stagnation, but proof of acceleration. It was the signal that your quantum leap is not an abstract possibility hidden somewhere in the future, but a present reality unfolding around you. You are no longer a voice shouting into silence. You are the one learning to hear the returning echoes of your own call, reverberating through the quantum field. We have traveled together through a profound shift in perception. You have laid down the outdated belief that you must struggle to attract external objects, and you have embraced the deeper truth that manifestation is an act of tuning, not of chasing. You have recognized that you are the cosmic tuning fork whose steady frequency commands resonance from the universe itself. You have discovered the invisible tow rope, that subtle pull from your higher self, already arrived at the destination, already whole, already guiding you with love and certainty. You have learned to treat your own body as the GPS of the soul, discerning the unmistakable peace of true recognition from the restless excitement manufactured by the ego. And at last, you have taken the posture of the quantum gardener, one who receives the first sprout not with fear or frenzy, but with the calm smile of inevitability, keeping an open hand so that the new reality may rest securely within it. From here, the concept of the echo of future reality expands into something even more magnificent than signs and synchronicities. It reveals itself as an ongoing dialogue between your present self and your higher self across the dimensions of time. Every repeated number, every synchronistic encounter, every intuitive jolt is no longer random. It is a love note from you to you, an encouragement across timelines, whispering, "I am here, we are already succeeding, trust the process." Your presence here receiving these words was not engineered by an algorithm, but orchestrated by the wisest part of your being. The fact that your quantum leap is already underway is irrefutable evidence of your multidimensional nature, proof that you are a creator, capable of impressing your intention onto the fabric of space and time. You are both the sender and the receiver, the artist and the canvas, the one who writes and the one who reads. The field is not some external authority to be convinced. It is the extension of your own consciousness awaiting the brushstroke of your will. Every sign you encounter is simply your higher intelligence guiding your conscious mind back home to remembrance of its original sovereignty. Understand, then, that your quantum leap is far more than the attainment of new circumstances, possessions, or status. It is nothing less than a return to your true identity as a being of infinite power, innate peace, and unbounded wisdom. Manifestation as you once thought of it is only the byproduct, the inevitable side effect of this deeper process of awakening and self-recognition. And yet as you carry this new clarity forward into the rhythm of ordinary life, you must remain vigilant. For your old programming will be tested. There will be days when the density of three-dimensional reality will scream with convincing force, when the voices of fear, doubt, and limitation, voices conditioned by years of forgetfulness, will try to pull you back into their orbit. Do not mistake this resistance for regression. It is not proof that nothing has changed. It is the final static of a frequency being turned off forever, the last tremors of a dying matrix. When these echoes of fear arise, your task is not to fight them, not to feed them, not to waste energy resisting. Instead, witness them with the same sovereign calm with which you have learned to receive positive signals. See them as powerless phantoms that only survive if nourished by your belief. They are noise, not truth. Your peace is the ultimate shield. Your centered presence is the irrevocable declaration that your choice has been made and that no reversal is possible. By standing firm in calm coherence, even amid chaos, you announce that you are no longer a seeker begging for signs, but the deliberate architect of reality itself. You no longer wait for the universe to prove itself, you are the one stabilizing the field with your presence. And you are not alone in this. Each act of alignment contributes to a global wave of consciousness, a planetary movement of awakening souls who are remembering who they truly are and collectively co-creating a new Earth. Now you know how to identify the echoes of your future reality. Now you know how to receive them with dignity and grace instead of desperation. And this prepares you for the next stage, the calibration of your own body and nervous system to sustain the voltage of this new consciousness. For the quantum leap is not merely an internal event. It must be anchored fully into the physical. Your energy centers your cellular structure. Your breath, your very nervous system are to be attuned to hold the frequency you have already claimed. In our next step together, we will explore precisely how to embody this frequency of materialization, how to balance your centers, align your energy, and literally transform your physical body into a living portal through which your new reality can crystallize fully, swiftly, and permanently. This is the great union of heaven and earth within you, of spirit and matter interwoven in one body. Until then, breathe deeply into your sovereignty. Walk with the silent assurance of one who already knows. You are in motion now. The new reality is not coming. It is already here, greeting you, awaiting you, and unfolding through you.